Me and Brian just got up and got ready, made the bed in the tent, set up.
Some missing person cases fade into the background of news cycles. A face on a poster, a name on a bulletin, a search that ends with unanswered questions. But every once in a while, a case comes along that changes the way the world thinks about disappearances. A case so strange, so unsettling, and so full of twists that it stunned investigators, captivated millions, and forced people to confront a new reality about how quickly a life can vanish in the digital age. This is one of those cases. This is the shocking truth behind a recent missing person event that shocked the world. This is the story of Brian Laundrie and Gabrielle Petito, a disappearance that began online, unfolded across America, and ended in a conclusion no one expected. In the summer of 2021, two young adults set out on what appeared to be a dream adventure. Gabrielle Petito, known to everyone as Gabby, was a 22-year-old woman with a bright smile, a social media presence, and a passion for travel and photography. She documented life, documented experiences, and had millions of followers on social platforms where she shared her journey through scenic landscapes and quiet moments. Together with her boyfriend, Brian R. Laundrie, a 23-year-old man from Northport, Florida, Gabby converted a white cargo van into a makeshift home on wheels. They embarked on a cross-country road trip in July of 2021, planning to tour the United States, visit parks, scenic sites, and document their journey. They traveled through Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan, and beyond. At first glance, their journey looked picturesque. Photos of mountain ranges, lakes, campfires, and sunsets attracted attention online. But behind the filters, behind the posts, there were events that made investigators uneasy in hindsight. Even before Gabby went missing, something unsettling had already occurred. On the 2nd of July 2021, in Moab, Utah, police were called to a park after a public disturbance involving the couple. An eyewitness had reported seeing a couple arguing. When officers arrived, they found Gabby visibly upset. She appeared emotional and tearful. Brian appeared agitated. The officers spoke with both of them. Body camera footage later released to the public showed Gabby with red eyes, shaking and distressed. Brian insisted that everything was fine. Gabby at one point told the officers that Brian had grabbed her arm. The officers chose to issue a general information report, meaning they documented the incident but did not make an arrest. They separated the couple for the night, and then they let them go. At the time, it seemed like an isolated incident on a travel adventure, but it would later become one of the most critical pieces of the entire story. After Moab, they continued their journey into Wyoming, visiting Grand Teton National Park and Yellowstone National Park. Gabby continued to post photos and stories online, but in late August of 2021, something changed. Her social media activity became sparse. Her responses to friends and family slowed. By the 24th of August 2021, Gabby's mother, Nicole Schmidt, said she had not been able to reach her daughter and became worried. She reached out to family friends, saying that something did not feel right. This was when the search for Gabby really began. But who would have guessed that what started with unanswered messages would escalate into one of the most public missing person investigations in United States history? On the 1st of September 2021, Brian returned home to Northport, Florida, driving the same white van that he and Gabby had been living and traveling in. He had Gabby's belongings with him, but he did not have Gabby. He did not answer questions about her whereabouts. He did not contact her family. He did not file a report. Instead, he remained silent. This was the moment the missing person case took a dramatic turn. Authorities began searching for Gabby. Media outlets began covering the story. Social media exploded with concern. Find Gabby trended across platforms. Her story made headlines. But something investigators did not expect was how quickly this disappearance would capture global attention. And more importantly, how quickly the truth would unfold in ways no one predicted. Gabby's family filed a missing person report on the 11th of September 2021. Local law enforcement in Sarasota County, Florida, immediately began investigations. Gabby's friends, relatives, lawyers, and private investigators all became involved. The public follow was intense. On social media, people shared theories. Some believed she had run away. Some believed she had been harmed. Some believed she was still alive. But for law enforcement, the first question was simple. Where was Gabby? And the key person of interest was Brian. Investigators tried to interview him. They tried to ask questions about Gabby's last confirmed communications. They asked where they had been, who they had met, and what had happened on their trip. Brian refused to cooperate. He would not speak to law enforcement. Instead, he sent his lawyer to speak on his behalf, and that was when the case took its next shocking turn. On the 14th of September 2021, just days after Gabby's family filed the missing person report, Brian's parents filed a missing person report for Brian. That meant that the person of interest in a missing person case became a missing person himself. This was not anticipated by investigators. Brian had vanished into the Carlton Reserve, a large wilderness area near Northport, Florida. His parents said he went hiking, but Brian was not an experienced outdoor man. He had no known plans, phones, or supplies. He was gone just like Gabby. Now investigators were searching not just for a missing woman, but for two missing people. This twist shocked law enforcement. Tracking two missing persons at the same time, one who was believed to be alive, and the other a person of interest, was unprecedented in this case. And then the investigations took an even darker turn. On the 12th of October 2021, human remains were found in Bridger-Teton National Forest in Wyoming. Investigators confirmed the remains belonged to Gabrielle C. Petito. She was just 22 years old. The medical examiner determined that her death was a homicide by manual strangulation. The shockwave of this announcement swept across the nation. The missing person was no longer a mystery to hope for. She was a tragedy. And the truth investigators uncovered next was even more devastating. But how did investigators piece together the final movements of Gabby? Not through eyewitness accounts, not through surveillance footage, not through phone calls, but through digital footprints, text message metadata, cell phone location data, social media timestamps. Investigators began reconstructing the last days of her life. They discovered that Gabby had sent her last voicemail to her mother on the 27th of August 2021 from Yellowstone National Park. In that voicemail, she said she was scared. She said she felt unsafe. She said she did not know what to do. Those were the last recorded words she ever sent. Digital evidence from photos, geotags, and timestamps helped law enforcement build a map, a timeline of where Gabby had been during her final days. It became clear that her disappearance was not a simple missing person case. It was a murder investigation fueled not by traditional clues but by digital breadcrumbs. This was something investigators did not expect. In previous decades, missing person cases largely relied on physical evidence, tip lines, and eyewitness testimonies. But in this case, the digital trail, the very technology Gabby used to share her life, they were also still searching for Brian in the Carlton Reserve. Search teams scoured miles of dense woodland. They used Ki-9 units, drones, helicopters, officers on foot, but there was no sign of him. Days became weeks. The search grew more intense. On the 20th of October 2021, the final twist in this case arrived. Remains were found in the Carlton Reserve and were confirmed to be those of Brian R. Laundrie. Inside a backpack found near his skeleton was a notebook. In that notebook was a confession, words written in Brian's own handwriting. He wrote that he had taken her life during an argument. The notebook ended with a declaration that his life was over. The medical examiner would later determine that Brian's death was self-inflicted, a suicide. When the truth finally came out, when the forensic reports were released, when the confession was analyzed, it was not just a disappearance, it was a murder mystery driven by digital evidence. It was a case that moved faster than traditional law enforcement could process. And it was a case that changed how the world views missing persons in the modern age. Because while some missing person cases end with hope, Gabby was gone. Brian had killed her. And the digital evidence, the trail of photos, messages, timestamps, and locations, this was something investigators did not expect. They expected a disappearance. They did not expect a timeline built through metadata. They expected questions. This case became a wake-up call, a reminder that in the 21st century, a reminder that lives documented online can provide crucial clues, and a reminder that some truths, no matter how painful, deserve to be known. If you are still thinking about this case, if the digital trail puzzles you, if the emotional complexity haunts you, you are not alone. This story is a reminder that life is fragile. Truth can be hidden beneath the surface, and sometimes the answers we seek lie not in physical footprints on the ground, but in digital footprints left behind in the cloud.